Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ryan Retro channel. So you want to play your Steam games and you're used to playing it on something like this, but you want to play it on something a little bit smaller like this. Well, now you can. Kind of. This is Pluvia, a new application designed to run your Steam games on your Android device. You can log into the app with your Steam username and password, or by scanning the QR code using the Steam app on your phone. As always, be wary of who you're giving your information to. But if you would like to try out this app, check out the link to it in the description below, and you'll see all of your Steam games populated here. But there is a catch. Right now, you can only play DRM-free games. You can only play games that you're free to use anywhere you'd like, that don't have their own launchers, as they won't be launching correctly within this app. So I'll also link a couple of websites in the description below where you can check out which games are DRM-free, check if you have any of those in your library, and feel free to give those a go. By tapping this filter icon here, you can filter by the games you've installed already, and these are ones that I have set up which I know are DRM-free, and we'll be trying them out today and seeing how they perform. So right away, let's jump into Littlewood, the game I showed you in the introduction. The app itself is extremely simple. You just tap the install button on the game you like, and once it's done, you then just tap the play button. The app is very new, so there are lots of bugs and lots of things not really working perfectly, but I do want to show you it because I think it's very exciting for the future of gaming on Android. One bug I've encountered recently is all of my face buttons are mixed up, and if I hit the back button, which right now for me is the A button, it just quits out of the game entirely. I'm not able to use that in any game, which is obviously a big issue. But let's jump back in and be very careful not to push that cursed button. It seems like my X and B buttons have been mixed up, so I'm using X as a confirm button, which again is not ideal, but I just want to show you that these games do run and run very easily. We're now in the game. As you can see, most of the controls are working the way that they should. Some of them are remapped, some of them just quit the whole game entirely. Once again, this is a very new app, and there's already been a couple of updates, so we can expect better performance and better compatibility in the coming weeks. And don't worry, I'll definitely be covering those updates if they fix some of these issues. A lot of these games can be emulated on Winlator or GameHub, but what sets Pluvia apart is that it automatically populates that game list of Steam games, easily allows you to install and play them with one button, and then crucially, it synchronizes your save files between your Android device and Steam itself, meaning you can pick up a game on your Retroid Pocket 5, your Android phone, or any other Android device, carry on where you left off on your Steam game, and then go back to your PC and once again carry on from there. So it really gives you Steam Deck functionality in your Android device, which I think is a game changer. Here I'm inside a menu inside the Littlewood game, and unfortunately I need to press the back button to get out of this menu, and by pressing the back button it backs out of the whole game. So that is an issue with Pluvia right now that really needs to be addressed. But I'm going to carry on and show you some more games so you can see the real state Pluvia's in right now, and I'm hoping you'll get a sense of the potential of this application. So let's now jump into The Messenger, a really cool little game with a fantastic soundtrack. In this game, it seems B is now the accept button, so we're seemingly getting different control profiles on different games, which is very interesting. Let's play through a little bit, see how it goes, and then I'll press that dreaded A button and we'll see what happens. You might be able to hear from the music, and you might be able to see in this 60 frames per second video right now that it is not really running very smoothly. There's definitely room for improvements here. But once again, this is a Steam game that is absolutely playable on Android, and it makes me really excited for the potential of this application, as having all my Steam games on something like this would be huge. Or not huge, which is actually kind of the point. Okay, let's go for it. Let's press that dreaded A button. Oh, in this game the buttons are working okay. So it might depend on what game we're playing, which is interesting, because I've definitely noticed that A button quitting the game being an issue in far more than just Littlewood. So the Messenger is looking fantastic, but unfortunately it's not running at a very good frame rate. Now, if we exit out of the game and click these three dots, we do have the option to open the container, similar to Winlator and GameHub, where you can actually now jump into the Windows environment. And as you can see, this is actually just running an old version of Winlator. From here, you can go through and find your files, play around with them. Here is the game exe and all those other files. But also through this menu, we can edit the container. Here we can go through and change the same things we can change on Winlator, such as resolution, drivers, etc. And backing out again, if you tap on your profile and go to settings, here we have the Box64 presets, which is another feature of Winlator. You can choose to add a new one, and you have all of these controls like big block and strong mem that you can really play around with. This is a little bit too complicated for me, but if you search a particular game online and the word Winlator, you will probably find a lot of configuration options. And you can also feel free to join my Discord and ask in the Windows channels. I have added a new channel specifically for Pluvia. So with that said, there's a lot of customization you can do, but let's jump into another game now and let's see how Scribblenauts is working, a personal favorite of mine. As you can see, the game loads up absolutely fine. Let's press the dreaded A button and it crashes us out of the app once again. Okay, we're back in the game. And I think for this, you actually need to use the cursor control here. So let's tap that continue button. But I do know the controls work when you are in the game itself, but there is a big control problem with this specific game, which I'm going to show you. So we can fly around here on this nice flying tree man that I made. I'm going to avoid that A button like the plague, but there is an issue here. And that is Scribblenauts, if you didn't know, is all about a game of creativity and inventiveness. You can create almost anything you think of by typing it in. But there lies the problem. Typing. So what you need to do is select this notepad up the top here, and here you can write an object you'd like to make. We can bring up an on-screen keyboard. I think this is just purely showing keys that are not usually on your keyboard. So what we would like to do is bring up the Retroid on-screen keyboard, right? But I've not been able to find a way to bring up the keyboard. If you know a way to launch the on-screen keyboard, maybe from up here somewhere, please let me know. But for now, instead of that, what I've done is hooked up a keyboard like this, and I haven't tested this yet. This is going to be the first test if it works or not. So let me try and type something. And it does in fact work. So let's say we just want to create a giant blue game. It gives us a nice little Game Boy here we can use, and it does actually in fact work. So now I'm clutching onto my big blue Game Boy as I ride on top of my flying tree trunk holding a water gun. So that is all working fine, but obviously we don't want to have to connect a keyboard in order to use the game. And there is one of the issues with Steam games is that most of them assume you probably have a keyboard or mouse. But again, that is something that could definitely be fixed just by button mapping. And apart from that, this game is working pretty well. Next up, we have Evoland 2, a game I've always wanted to buy, and I used making this video as an excuse to buy it for myself. So hopefully it runs well. It loads with no issues, controllers seem mapped correctly, but let's try the dreaded A button. Oh, seems to be functioning correctly. Let's try the other buttons. We're not getting crashed with any of them, interestingly. So let's jump into a new game and see how it works. And it seems like it's running well. For anyone who doesn't know what this game is, this game basically takes you through the history of gaming. So you begin like this, which looks like an old Game Boy. And as you progress, you go into color, you go into 3D, the graphics keep improving and transforming. It's really cool. And it's basically loads of games in one. You're essentially playing a Pokemon game, a Mario Kart game, a Street Fighter game. They're all in here, all in one. So it's a really cool game that I've always wanted to play, and I'm really excited to play here. And so far, the signs are looking promising that I can just play this simply with Pluvia. And I did actually get the idea for playing this game from the official Pluvia compatibility chart, which I will once again link in the description. Oh, there are a lot of links in this description, aren't there? Sorry about that, but I hope they're all very helpful. And once again, feel free to join my Discord Pluvia channel where we will talk more about games that are working well. So I am led to believe this game works perfectly on Pluvia, and it definitely does seem like it's working better than any game I've tried so far. So this seems like a win! In terms of other games we can play, here are some more that I downloaded. Enter the Gungeon, Iconoclasts, Evoland Legendary Edition, Knights of Pen and Paper. They're all working pretty much as you'd expect. They're all pretty good candidates to play on this right now. One more is Stardew Valley, which is DRM free, so it should work here, but unfortunately, I've not been able to get it to run so far. I will say Stardew Valley is kind of a tricky game to play even on Winlator. Once you get it all sorted out and loaded, it's great. But it definitely took more tinkering than most other games to get to launch in the first place. Another game I wanted to try was Slay the Spire. This is by far my most played game on Steam. As you can see here, I've played 1,700 hours of Slay the Spire, and it's DRM free, so I was really excited to try and get my save file onto here. I have the Android version of Slay the Spire on here, and I even have the secret console version of Slay the Spire too, but I want my 1,700 hours of blood, sweat, and tears on here. I don't want to lose my record of all those losses. So if I can get Slay the Spire synchronized synchronizing on here with Steam, that would be huge. But unfortunately, when I try to install it, it gets stuck at 66% and just doesn't complete installing. And then if you press play, it's not going to work. So that's the downside right now. There's definitely a lot of things that need to be fixed in Pluvia. As you saw through this video, it definitely is nowhere near perfect, but it is a brand new project and one that I think has huge potential for the future of gaming on Android phones or especially Android devices like this Retroid Pocket 5. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was useful. If it was, please give me a like and subscribe if you didn't already. Check out the official Retroid website using my affiliate link in the description below if you'd like to pick up your own Retroid Pocket 5 at the place where I bought this one. And I want to say a huge thank you to all of my patrons who you can see on the screen right now. And if you'd like to join these glorious people, check out yet again more links in the description. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you again on Friday for some secret console testing. Thanks for watching. Bye.